Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
Dos Rios, the Valley of Two Rivers. What do you got here? You got a pretty bland looking game. I hate to say that. They do a really good job with what it is. At the end of the day, it is an abstract. And you're building these dams to move the river to screw people over. You can kind of see what's going to score, how people are going to score. When it's your turn to score, you get to take the... So you choose what scores at the end, whether it scores or not. So the active player has the advantage of being able to move the board around somewhat. I don't particularly like these type of games. On your turn, you have 6 movement points, and you have people move here. I don't want to do that. Come back. I'll do this. Nah, I don't want to do that. Come back. You know, because you almost got to play it out to see how it's going to go. Yes, just you, can do it all in your head. But for the rest of us mere mortals, we can't do it in our head. We have to move things around and undo things. It's just how it is. It was okay. It's one of those, like, I want to place my guys this way because the scoring is coming up. I don't particularly like those. There's a pace and on theme, but why am I changing the dam? I'm changing it so you don't score. That's all. Or I score more points. Why am I fielding coffee beans or wheat? Because it's going to score on my next turn. I'm going to set myself up. It's an abstract in that way. It is neat moving the river. That's really neat. And there's a rule to how the river moves. It always moves down in elevation. That's really neat. And you can kind of screw people over and combine it, blah, blah, blah. I didn't find it particularly appealing, to be honest. It's okay, but these games are not for me. So watch the flow of the game. See if it's something for you. The components are all wooden. The rivers are cardboard. The dams are wooden. The tiles are nice. Everything is nice. The paper money's okay. I don't particularly like that. I don't particularly enjoy these games, so it's really hard for me to say it's a terrible game. It's a good game. It works. If you want a little light abstract with some screwage in it, this might be it for you. Dos Rios, the Valley of Two Rivers. But for me, I'm going to keep this one on my Purge list, and I'm going to go ahead and let this one pass. Dos Rios, Valley of the Two Rivers. Here are the components. This box, while very bland looking to me, it's a beautiful picture, but there's not a lot going on. Really tells the story of the game. You got the mountains, you got the two rivers coming down, you got the different areas of land. So once you kind of see the game, except for even this guy, coming up the trail. So this is a very good indication of the game that you're going to get. It's amazing. Maybe the most spot on one that I've seen. You're going to get one of these oversized rule books, lots of black and white words. There are some pictures, as you can see. It does a fairly good job. The rules are fairly simple, with just a few exceptions. You're going to get a modular board that you will build up. So every time, this is just kind of the border of it that you will build up around it. And you will build this up, and then you will build these tiles that will be different every time. The tiles are only one-sided, but the configurations will change the game up sometime and give you some different formations. Everybody's going to get a number of these cowboy meeples. You're going to get some roads that you will be able to build. These are the houses. One of the houses you're building. Looks a lot like the Monopoly houses. These are your bigger houses. These are haciendas. So these you need to build to win the game. And then you will have these really cool meeple cowboys, cowples. I don't know, cowboy meeples. They're really neat looking. Very very nice. You're going to get this river. Now this is like this, as you'll see in the flow of the game, because you're going to be putting it on the board and the river will be changing directions. You need these. So very unique. It's just a little piece of cardboard, but they're fairly thick and nice. Little fiddly during the game. You're going to get a you're going to get enough for 4 people. Red, black, yellow, and white. You're going to get a bunch of that wood I showed you. And then you're going to get these tiles. They're pretty nice. You'll be using these during the game. They're very thick. You do not want this to happen because you will know what's coming up. There's really no way to sleeve these. I don't know. Do people have sleeves this size? It's unfortunate mine got a little nicked when I was punching it. But that might have been user error, so I'm not going to blame the game for that. I'm notorious for that. And wonderful, good old-fashioned paper money. Don't you love it? Hate it, don't like it, but it is in this game, so you might want to use some chips with this. Although it's pretty thematic for the time, I guess. I don't know who this is, but it looks good, but doesn't feel good. And I want to point out the insert. It's not for this game. Mine ripped a little bit, but it's very much generic. This is Mayfair. You know, I'm not always crazy about their components, but it's nice enough. You know, the tiles are really thick, even though mine got nicked a little bit. These things are really nice. So, you know, overall components, while bland, I mean, this is what you're working with here. The icons are what I'm important. They're very easy to see. It works since this is such an abstract game. Rios are pretty easy. Probably the most complicated thing, which really isn't complicated, is the river. Once you figure out how the river works, the rest of the game is pretty simple. I didn't have any problems. You know, you have to explain the river, how it works, and you have to explain the tiles. There's not a whole lot of them, and most of it's going to come pretty intuitive once you see it and kind of moving things around. I probably like this one better for 2 than 4. 4 is going to have a lot more screwage and luck and chaos in it. I think I would keep this down for 2 players if you want some strategy. But if you like chaos and luck, then scroll up with more players, and I think it'll skim up for more luck involved. The rules were clear. I didn't have a whole lot of problems with it. So here's the board set up. What you have is you have a track around it. These roads come down here, and you're going to have the 2 rivers starting at the top. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit how this works. You're going to have 2 rivers flowing down, and they will always go, the mountains are higher than the forest, which is higher than the plains or the fertile land. So when you build it, you will always try to pick the lower land. And you can kind of hit this however you want. So it would go this way, whatever's adjacent to it. And if 2 options are equal, then, you know, you get to choose. And then this would just go into the lake. And then you would do the other side also. Oh, this would go here. Now, I'm doing this fast, so I might make a mistake, but I think I'm doing it right. I think that's always lower. It would go like this. And this is going to be important when you're playing the game. You are playing full money, and what you're trying to do is build a number of your buildings. If you can get 4 of these built on a river, so on a space that there's river, and you've built the hacienda, you win the game. Otherwise, you need to build all 5, and they don't have to be on the river. So on your turn, you're going to be doing a number of things. So when the game starts out, you're going to have a number of your cowboys placed on the board, let's say. Wherever you want. They could be wherever. And you're going to have 3 of them down here in the city, which I'll show you in just a second. So you have 3 on the map and 3 in the city area. Everybody will have this. What's kind of cool about the city area is that you can move up. You can either move one of these 3 spaces, or you can come up here and go here, here, or here. And that only counts as 2 movements. So it's 1 to move on the road and then 1 to move here. So you can move up rather quickly. Otherwise, this game is a fairly abstract game of what you're trying to do. So you will have a number of these tiles here that you'll see different things on them. And there'll always be 3 that are face up. And so if this is the start of the deck, you know that wheat is going to score next. And you're going to get paid $100 if you're on a wheat. Now, at the end of your turn, you can choose to score this or move it to the back of the line. So there's a little bit of strategy of knowing what's coming up to score. Look, wheat's going to score twice, but I'm going to have control over it. So I better get the wheat, score this. He'll do whatever he does in a 2-player game and score, or it gets even more chaotic in a 3 or 4-player game. So all you're really doing is moving your people around the board. During your turn, you have 6 movement steps. You can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can move people around however you want. So let me show you another example of that. So it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm trying to get on as much wheat as possible. Yay! Because I know that that's going to score. So you have 6 movement points. You can move however you want. If somebody else is on a spot that you want to get to, you can go there and you can push them off. So say I wanted to go here and I have 6 movement points. 1, and I can bring both of my guys here as 2, 3, and then I push them off or down to the city. So you just have to have 2. If your hacienda is there, they can't move through it. But if you have one of your cities there, they can, and then you can push them off like that or down to the city. So that's the big thing there. And then you can build these dams. And what's really important about this, you can build as many as you want as long as you have the wooden pieces. And all you have to do is have a person in the space and you build this dam. So if I build this dam right here, that means the river can no longer flow this way. So it followed the same rules. It always has to scroll down. So let's say it would go this way. I don't think that it would go there, but just for funny sakes, let's say there was already a dam there. So it's going to come on down. And that's really important if, let's say this guy was here and you want to, Coffee's going to score, so you want to block him. And I was here, I would build this dam and shift the water around him. That would be another way to do it. So, if he knew that I had a guy here, on his turn, he might want to build a dam here so it doesn't flow that way. It would then flow this way away from where my guy would score. Or if I had a house there and I was trying to get 4 to win, he would shift the water so it's away from my guy. So there's a lot of take that and back and forth with moving this dam. You can never totally block something off where the dam or the water has no way to go. It always has to be able to flow down here into this river. So it would keep flowing down here, and then this would be taken off. So the river is going to change. They can combine at times. That's fine. Now another thing you can do is like I said, you can build these buildings. This costs $500 to build one of these, and $1,000 to build the hacienda. Once you build them, you cannot move them, and that's the idea of the game. That's how you win, is by getting those out. So how do you get money? Great question. So if you're on the space when this scores, if you're on one of these goods, and there's 3 different types, I guess that's carrots, wheat, and coffee, you get $100 for each space that you're on. Now there'll be some like this where you'll score, let me show you this one. So you'll score anything coming out of the green river, the Rio Verde, which is this river over here. One is green and one is brown. You can kind of see the green here and the brown. So this one's the brown one, this one's the green one. So there are 2 of those. And if one comes up, you would score the brown river or the green one. Now the ones with the guns, that's when the bandits come out and they will destroy the first 3 establishments they see on that river and send the people back to back down to the city. And getting the city's tough because you need to get your guys out, so you don't want them constantly sent back. So pretty much that's how it's going to work. You're going to have 6 movement points, which you can move any combination of your guys. You're going to have 6 of them on the board. You're trying to position yourself to score these tiles, and you know the next 3 that are coming up. And then you want to shift the river to either help you score or hurt your opponents. Now, this is probably a better 2-player game because it's less chaotic, but it's going to get pretty chaotic the more players that you play with, because there's going to be less time between your turns. And you're going to see your plans and your planning kind of go down the tubes. But it's really an abstract, but it's really kind of a pretty abstract. I like the way the river works. It's fiddly, I get that, and people are against that. but it's really the mechanism to screw somebody over or help yourself. So it's the movement when you first start playing. It's like the obvious. Okay, I'm going to move my guys. That's kind of obvious, but the power of moving that river becomes very apparent very quickly, especially when somebody's building a lot of their houses and you see, oh, they got 3 houses on that river. We got to do something about this river here. So you'll actually try not to score and try to move that river and maybe pass on scoring that till later on. So that's definitely something you'll see here. But there's some screwage in this. There's some take that. It's very abstract. Just moving these guys around, building the houses. This game, fans of abstract, if you really like the idea of it, if you watch the flow of the game and you like how the river moves and the scoring mechanisms, but everything you do is to score and to set yourself up to score. So nothing makes thematic sense. There's no psychology behind it. It's all about scoring points. That's it. And screwing over your neighbor. 2 to 4 players. Okay, this is a much better game with 2. The 4 is just too chaotic for me. But if you like that, that might appeal for you. The game is super easy. I would say this is very, very light. I also think it's a dime a dozen. I would tell you, if you like this sort of game, this might push your buttons. Otherwise, you might want to try this out. Not a very bad game. I think the components are kind of bland. Although I do like how the workers have the hats on them and stuff. That's pretty neat. Maybe 5-6 years ago, this would have been a really nice component game. I don't know that it lives up to it anymore. It's okay. It's okay. So, try it before buying. It's probably my recommendation, or just pass it on by if it's not something that you think is going to knock your socks off. But Dos Rios is a purge to me.